Hey everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know how we do things around here. We dig up something maybe a little unusual, something you wouldn't expect, and see what kind of insights we can pull out of it. Right?
Absolutely.
So today we're going to be looking at, it's an excerpt, really, from what looks like a Chinese Christian blog post.
Oh, wow.
It's called Tetris.
Okay.
And the basic idea is that it uses the game Tetris as like an analogy.
Huh.
To help understand God's work.
I like that.
In the world. And you know how sometimes life can feel kind of chaotic and random, and you're just like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. This post basically says, maybe there's a divine order to things.
Okay.
Even when it feels like a total mess.
Interesting.
Not like when you're in the middle of a crazy Tetris game.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
So, anyone ever played Tetris?
I have, yeah.
I mean, like, really played Tetris. Like, you know those crazy levels where the blocks are falling at, like, warp speed?
Oh, yeah.
I was reading about this thing called the CTWC.
What?
The Classic Tetris World Championship.
Wow, that's a thing.
It's a real thing. And these players are like,
oh, wow.
We're dealing with blocks dropping so fast, it's insane.
So fast you can barely even see them, I bet.
Almost. I mean, it makes you think, like, how do they even process all that information? It's like life sometimes, right?
Totally. Know what you mean.
Everything's coming at you so fast. Mm-hmm. You're just trying to keep up.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to stay on your toes.
In this blog post, it connect that whole feeling to faith.
Okay.
And to how we deal with challenges.
I'm intrigued.
So it talks about, like, how in Tetris, you got to be able to adapt.
You do. You have to be ready for anything.
Recognize patterns.
Right.
Make quick decisions.
Exactly. Got to think on your feet.
And it's saying that life's kind of like that, too.
Life is definitely like that.
You got to be flexible. You got to be able to adjust to whatever's thrown at you.
I think that's a great point.
Then it gets really interesting. It brings up Genesis 1.2.
From the Bible.
Yeah, where it talks about how the earth was formless and void in the beginning.
Right.
And it compares that to a messy Tetris board.
Oh, like before you start playing?
Exactly. It's like this jumble of potential, right?
Okay, I see where they're going with this.
And then God steps in, and he brings order out of that chaos.
Like a master Tetris player.
Totally. He takes what seems random, and he shapes it into something beautiful and purposeful.
That is a powerful image.
It is. And then it takes things even deeper.
How so?
By talking about the life and death of Jesus.
Okay.
And this is where the analogy gets really profound.
Yeah, interesting.
That asks this question.
Yeah.
It says, have you ever felt like life was throwing blocks at you with no clear plan?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like, have you ever felt that way?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you're just getting bombarded with challenges.
For sure. I think we all have at some point.
And you're just like, what is the point of all this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The post is saying that even the toughest parts of Jesus' life.
Like his suffering and death.
Yeah. All of that was part of God's bigger plan.
Okay.
Just like a really good Tetris player might make moves that seem weird at first.
Like they don't make sense.
Right. But then later you see how it all fits together.
And they end up winning.
Exactly. And that's what God's doing.
That's pretty amazing.
He's working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Even when we don't see it.
And making everything work together.
Exactly.
Even the bad stuff.
Yeah. And it's all for something bigger than we can imagine.
Wow.
And then there's this one part where it compares the empty tomb to that empty space.
Yeah.
You get, when you clear a line in Tetris, it's like this perfect visual, right?
It is.
Of how even when it looks like defeat, it can actually be a victory in God's plan.
That's powerful.
It is. And then it ends with this question.
Okay.
So it says, will you allow Jesus' light to illuminate your own personal Tetris game?
Wow. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like, what if we started seeing our struggles?
Yeah.
Not as just random bad luck.
But as part of something bigger.
Yeah. As pieces in this bigger game.
The God's playing.
Exactly. And if we could see that, would it change how we face those challenges?
I think it would.
I think so too. It's like maybe instead of getting frustrated, we could be more like, okay, God, I trust you.
I trust you.
I know you're working even when I don't understand.
That's a great perspective.
And you know what's even crazier?
Wait,
what if we're not just playing the game?
Oh, wow.
What if we're the blocks?
The blocks themselves.
Like, what if each one of us
is
a little block in God's giant Tetris game?
That's a really interesting thought.
And every choice we make, everything we do.
It's like we're fitting into his plan.
Oh.
Even if we don't see the whole picture yet.
That's amazing.
It is kind of mind-blowing, isn't it?
It really is something to think about.
So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into God's Tetris.
God's Tetris. I like that.
Maybe next time you're playing Tetris or just going through life.
Yeah.
Take a second and think about that bigger picture.
Yeah.
And how even when things seem messy and chaotic,
right,
there might just be a divine order to it all.
A divine order.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See ya.